I was recently in a project-based biodesign class working on pediatric obstructive sleep apnea. Our need statement was a way to prevent the airway from collapsing during sleep in children without significant adenotonsillar hypertrophy in order to improve behavior and cognitive performance. So one of our key solution ideas that we had going into the patent search process, we called super sleeve. And it was this idea that a pediatric patient could be wearing a sleeve that has motors in it that actually push the jaw forward, which actually prevents the airway from collapsing. In addition to the concept I just described, we also had two other concepts. And our strategy for patent searching was dividing and conquering. So we had 6 people in our team, and 2 people took on the patent searching for each concept. And the first thing to get started off on is coming up with key words to use for the patent searches. So, for example, for the concept I just described, some of the key words that I used were sleep apnea, jaw thrust, and mandible, and maybe I could throw in motor as well. So it could be kind of overwhelming to understand that there's a whole world of patents to look through and narrow down. But for me, what I did was I just kind of dove in and didn't think about that and just started searching the key terms, a few of them together at a time, just searching one of them and seeing what came up, and just trying to really put together as many patents as I could that were similar. And to determine the similar patents, I looked at the picture and I looked at the abstract, because you don't want to be spending too much time reading the entire patent. You just want to pick out the most important sections and maybe read like the first few sentences of the first claim. And from this, you could get a sense of which patents are similar and if they have similar features to yours or not.
The different search tools that we used to look up our patents of interest were Google Patents and the USPTO website. So as Evan mentioned, it's a big world to dive into, and they have a lot of different benefits, one site versus the other. Google Patents was a little bit more user-friendly in the way that we could search the patents. Everything was on one page for the picture, for an abstract, and also for the claim itself, whereas the USPTO website, you had to kind of click through to find that information. But that said, the USPTO website had more of an exhaustive list of all of our patents of interest that were related to the keywords that we were searching. Another key tool that the Google Patents website has was to be able to search for patents that are cited by the actual patent of interest, and then also show you what patent cited that patent you were looking at, which was a very useful way to look up patents that were related to the one you were searching for. And now the way that we kept track of our patents of interest was to have a spreadsheet that we shared amongst the people who were working on the project. And there were different columns that we had to be able to keep track of all of our variables. So whether it was when the patent was published, what the patent number was, whether it was active or abandoned, and what its status was. And then also we also included a picture, a screenshot of the actual artwork that we felt was most relevant to our search. So the hardest part for sure is just getting started. I know it feels very overwhelming to be able to build all these keywords and dive into this world that's full of all of this complex language that doesn't seem to make any sense. But again, if you sort of have those key ways to get started of just find your keywords, looking up the abstract and maybe the first claim, and then also just looking at the artwork and seeing how it's relevant, it's actually pretty doable. And at the end of the day, kind of ends up being fun to be able to read all of these patents that may or may not be related to what you're searching for.